The marketplace was loud. Alien voices filled the air like smoke, rough, deep, and strange. Bright lights blinked from every corner. Creatures from different worlds moved around, laughing, shouting, buying. But in one dark corner, away from all the noise, sat a human girl. She was quiet. Her hands were tied with metal chains, glowing blue. Her feet were locked to the ground. Around her neck was a thin silver collar. Her hair was dirty. Her skin was bruised. But her eyes were wide open. Watching, she didn't look scared. Aliens passed by her, laughing and pointing. Some threw things. Some asked the seller if she was real, if humans still existed. The seller smiled and said, "She's rare. Found in the ruins of Earth War. She speaks little. But her eyes, they pull you in, don't they?" The merchant tapped the collar. "Watch this." He pressed a small button. The girl's body shook as electricity ran through the collar. But she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She looked straight into the seller's eyes, silent. Then she looked up at a small floating camera above her, and she spoke. "Claim me ... or I'll suffer here." The voice was soft, but clear. Not broken, not weak. The message went live across the alien network. Billions could see it. And someone somewhere did. Thousands of light years away, on a lonely space station orbiting a dead moon, an old man sat in silence. He had silver hair and cold eyes. Captain Elias Rourke, once known as the Butcher of Eridani. He hadn't spoken to anyone in years. He lived alone. No team, no ship, no war, but now a red light blinked on his old screen. A forgotten signal. A voice from the past. He pressed play. "Claim me or I'll suffer here." He stared at the screen. For a long time he didn't move. His hand began to shake. He recognized that voice. That face. "Impossible," he whispered. She was left behind. He opened an old folder. Mission, Eden Fire. The records showed a blackout mission 12 years ago. A failed rescue. One soldier missing. Declared dead. Her name was Ava. Young, brave, too brave, and now she was alive. In the marketplace, the merchant laughed. "See? She talks sometimes. Good for shows. The buyers love it." A large creature, tall with 6 arms and red eyes, walked over. "How much?" "She's not cheap," the merchant said, "but worth every credit." Behind them, Ava looked. At the chains on her hands, she moved one finger. The blue light on the metal flickered for just a second. Nobody saw it. She closed her eyes and whispered something. Not a cry. Not a prayer. Something else. Like a command. The chains stayed tight. But they buzzed softly. She waited. Captain Rourke stood up. He walked to a locked cabinet. It took 3 passwords and a fingerprint. Inside was an old Earth weapon, a pulse rifle, heavy and dangerous. He picked it up slowly, like it was a part of him he had forgotten. "She waited," he said to the empty room. "She survived." He turned on the unit. A cracked voice answered. "You're still alive?" The voice asked. "I need the team," Rourke said. The voice laughed. "After all these years?" "She's alive," Rourke replied. The line went quiet. Then came the answer. "Tell me when and where." Back at the market, night was falling. The crowd thinned. Lights grew dim. But Ava was still awake. Her eyes stared at the camera above her, waiting, watching. She knew someone had seen her. She had sent the message in the only way she could, through the camera system, stolen from an alien network, connected to Earth frequencies that no one used anymore, except him. She remembered his voice, his promise. "I'll come back." They all said that. None returned. But she had one thing they didn't expect. She had time. Time to study the chains, the patterns, the energy pulses. Time to learn the system of the arena she was held in. Time to plan. The merchant locked her cell and walked away. The market closed for the night. Inside the dark room, Ava slowly lifted her hands. The chains pulled tight. She grimaced but didn't stop. She whispered again, "Break." The blue light blinked once more. She smiled. Space is not silent. It breathes. It hums. It remembers. An abandoned station orbiting the dead planet Caltris 9. Lights flickered to life after years of darkness. Dust danced in the air. The screens had not glowed in decades. Then, a sound. Ping. One signal. Buried deep inside an old Earth military frequency. It came with no name. Just a short message repeated again and again. "Claim me, or I'll suffer." Here, Captain Elias Rourke didn't sleep anymore. His eyes were hard like steel. His hands were scarred from wars that no one even remembered. He lived alone, surrounded by weapons, maps, and ghosts. He was drinking black tea when the signal reached him. He almost ignored it. He had ignored many over the years, but this one had a voice. A girl's voice. And it said his name not in the message, but in the code hidden underneath. A special code, one only 3 people on Earth had ever known. He was one of them. He opened a locked drawer. Inside was a photo. Faded, creased, almost forgotten. A young woman smiled in it, standing beside Rourke in uniform. Her name, Ava Marin, declared dead. 12 years ago. Left behind, buried in a mission no one talks about. Operation Eden Fire. They said she was lost. That the ship exploded. That nothing remained. But now her voice echoed in his cold room, over and over. "Claim me, or I'll suffer." Here, Rourke stood up slowly. He walked to a wall panel and opened it. Inside were boxes marked, "Do not open. Retired." He opened them all. He found his old gear. A black jacket with the Earth Federation logo. A small AI chip named Hex. A loaded pulse pistol. He whispered, "Wake up, Hex." The chip blinked. A robotic voice replied, "Still alive, Captain? Thought you retired. Not anymore." Elsewhere. Deep in a luxury sky casino on Vega 7, a fat alien merchant watched the same message play on a loop. He laughed. So the human girl finally speaks. Beside him stood a tall alien with gray skin and a mechanical eye. He did not laugh. "She sent the signal," the gray alien said. "It reached someone." "Let them come," the merchant replied, sipping green wine. "She's chained. She can't leave." The gray alien narrowed his eye. "She's not the one in chains anymore." Back on Caltris 9, Rourke activated a long-forgotten device, the Phoenix Beacon. It sent a signal to every member of his old team. No names, no message. Just a simple code. "She's alive." First to respond was Sergeant Lyra Kane, now a bounty hunter on the edge of the Void Sector. She didn't ask questions. Just said, "Where and when?" Next was Dr. Milo Venn, a tech expert turned smuggler. He sent back, "If it's really her, I'm in." One didn't reply. Commander Hess. He had disappeared years ago. No trace. Rourke didn't care. He had enough. He looked back at the message again. Ava's voice was calm, but her eyes, they were burning, not with fear. With purpose. "She's doing something," he said. "This isn't just a call for help. It's a warning." Meanwhile, far across the stars, inside the alien marketplace, Ava sat still in her cell, but her chains were different now. Each day, the energy in them shifted slightly. Each day, she controlled a little more. She wasn't just trying to escape. She was testing something. No one noticed that her fingers tapped in rhythm. A code. Repeating. Tap. Tap, tap. Pause. Tap. From the shadows, a small cleaning bot passed by her cell. She looked at it. Just for a second. And the bot blinked back. Once. It had received the code. Rourke's ship, the Ghost Knife, roared to life after 12 years of silence. The engines burned blue as it lifted off from Caltris 9. Hex's voice echoed through the ship. "Heading to the merchant's moon. Coordinates locked. Rourke sat in the pilot's seat. His eyes locked on the stars. "Hold on, Ava," he whispered. "I'm coming." They called it the Arena of Amusements, but it was no amusement. It was a cage made of steel and pain. A floating fortress above a dead planet, shining like a jewel for those rich enough to watch life break apart for fun. Inside, every scream earned money. Every drop of blood meant more views. Fights were streamed across galaxies. The audience never blinked. They had never seen a human before, until her. Ava stood in the center of the arena, bare feet on cracked metal. Her arms were bruised. Her chains glowed blue, connected to her wrists like bracelets from hell. Above her, thousands of eyes watched from screens and skyboxes. The voice of the announcer boomed across the sky. "Tonight, from the ashes of a dead world, the last human enters the arena." The crowd roared. Aliens laughed. Bets were placed. Drinks were poured. Ava didn't move. Two massive doors opened across from her. A beast walked in, 10 feet tall, covered in black plates. It had 4 legs, 2 arms, and a spinning blade instead of a mouth. A monster built for war. The crowd chanted, "Tear her apart, make her bleed." The beast charged. Ava didn't run. She whispered something only the chains could hear. Slow. The lights around her wrists flickered. The chains didn't loosen, but they shifted. Just slightly, the monster swung. She moved 1 step left. The blade missed her. By inches. The crowd gasped. She didn't fight back. Not yet. From a hidden control room above, the gray-skinned alien with the cyber eyes stared at her screen. "She's learning," he said. The fat merchant beside him laughed. "She's lucky." "No," the gray one replied. "She's watching the patterns, the rhythm of the arena floor, the delay in the beast's targeting system." He turned to the merchant. "She's not just surviving, she's testing us." Back in the arena, Ava ducked another attack. This time she rolled, then stood again, calm. Her lips moved. "Break." The chain on her left wrist sparked. It didn't unlock, but it responded. The beast paused. For 1 second, confused. Ava placed her palm on the ground and smiled. Far below the arena, a group of low-class aliens watched on a broken screen. One of them, an old mechanic, narrowed his eyes. "She's talking to the metal." "What?" "The chains, the floor, the power lines. She syncs to it." "But she's human." "Not anymore." Up in the crowd, an alien child asked her mother, "Why doesn't she fight?" The mother said, "She's afraid." But the child shook her head. "No, she's waiting." The beast charged again. This time Ava didn't dodge. She stepped forward. She raised both arms. The chains pulled tight. And then ... the blue energy burst into the air like lightning. The metal didn't fall. It floated around her. Alive. The beast stopped. So did the crowd. Silence. Ava looked up at the nearest camera. And spoke. "You wanted a show. Now watch closely." She pointed her hand at the beast. The floating pieces of her broken chains moved like knives and flew. The monster screamed. Sparks flew. Its blade mouth shattered. It fell to the floor, twitching. Dead. The arena didn't cheer. It was too quiet. For the first time, they weren't watching a fight. They were watching a warning. In the shadows below, cleaning bots and drones shifted. Each one blinked once, in the same rhythm. Tap, 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 pause, tap. A code. Ava had planted it weeks ago. Through the floor, through the cameras, through the chains. She wasn't a prisoner. She was the virus. And now, the arena was infected. Back on Rourke's ship, the Ghost Knife, the crew watched the broadcast. "She's inside the arena systems." Melo whispered. "She's not waiting for us," said Lyra. Rourke nodded. "She's becoming something else." Asterisk space was wide, cold, silent, but not empty. In the black corners of the galaxy, old soldiers still breathed. Old weapons still waited. And one broken team began to rise again, because a message had been heard, a voice. Claim me, or I'll suffer here. Asterisk, the ship Ghost Knife landed quietly on a forgotten rock. No cities. No lights, just a black sky and dust. Captain Elias Rourke stepped out first, his long coat moving in the wind. He looked around, waiting. From the north came the hum of a jet bike. Lyra Kane arrived, dressed in dark armor, sharp eyes, fast hands. She didn't smile. Told myself I'd never see you again, she said. You said that the last 3 times, Rourke replied. She nodded. She's really alive? Rourke showed her the message again. Ava's eyes staring back through the screen. Lyra exhaled. Then we're not here for a rescue. We're here for revenge. An hour later, a stolen cargo shuttle dropped from the clouds. Out came Dr. Milo Venn, wearing glasses and too many gadgets. Tech genius. Nervous talker. Sorry I'm late. My pilot sold me halfway through hyperspace, he said, dropping his bag. He looked at Rourke, then at Lyra, then at the sky. I can break into the arena's grid, he said. But if she's doing what I think she's doing, it may already be too late, Rourke frowned. Explain. Milo pulled up a small holomap. She's not just inside the system, she's rewriting it. Slowly, quietly, Lyra stepped forward. You mean she's turning the arena into a weapon? Milo nodded. Rourke whispered, and she doesn't even need us. Flash to Arena Prime sublevel. Eva sat on cold metal, alone in a new cell. Different chains. Tighter, but her fingers still tap. Tap. Tap tap. Pause. Tap. Above her, lights flickered. Doors opened and closed without sound. Security bots moved. Wrong 1 second late. 1 second early. The system was drifting. Like a dream. And she was the one dreaming. Back on Grith 7. Rourke's team moved to a hidden cave. Inside, weapons, maps, memories. Ava's old file lay on the table. Photos, medical scans, military notes. She wasn't just a soldier, Milo said. She was part of a program, Rourke added. Project Chainburn. Lyra looked up. What the hell is that? Rourke hesitated. She volunteered for tests. Tech experiments. Designed to link a human nervous system to machines. The body as a signal tower. She could control metal. She could command it. But the project was shut down, Milo said. Rourke shook his head. No, it was sold. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the cave wall. Someone was outside. Rourke raised his weapon. Lyra vanished into shadow. Milo hid. The door opened. A tall man walked in, wearing old Earth armor. Commander Hess. Dead, missing, buried in the system. Good to see you, Captain, he said. No, it isn't, Rourke replied. Lyra stepped forward. You disappeared years ago. Why now? Hess smiled, but not kindly. Because Ava isn't the girl we left behind. She's not a girl anymore, Milo said. She's becoming dangerous, Hess said. You don't understand. She's not asking for rescue. She's calling the machine gods. She's waking something ancient in the tech. Everyone went silent. Then Rourke asked, Who are you working for now? Hess didn't answer. He just dropped a small round device onto the table. A surveillance orb used by the alien merchants. He turned to go. My advice? He said without looking back. Don't go to Arena Prime. He paused. Because if you do, she might not let you leave. Flash again to Ava control room. Feed. A hidden camera showed Rourke's cave. She watched it. She had seen them all come together. She had heard every word. And yet, she didn't blink. She simply stood, hands behind her back. Chains tight again, she whispered to the empty room. Let them come. Then the lights above her obeyed, turning off in a perfect spiral. Asterisk. The sky above Arena Prime turned red, not because of war, but because of her. Inside the arena, lights glitched, cameras blinked. Power lines whispered in short sparks, The system thought it was an error. It vousasn. Single quotes to Ava was ready. She stood once again. On the blood-stained floor of the fighting pit, the audience was louder now. Thousands of aliens shouting, laughing, screaming. Drinks poured. Bets placed. She had become the main event, but they didn't understand. She wasn't performing. She was testing the limits of her new form. And now, the test was over. From high above, the announcer's voice shook the sky. Behold, the last human. Still breathing, still bleeding, and ready to amuse you all. The gates opened again. 3 beasts this time. One with bone armor, one with 6 arms and flame breath. One that didn't crawl, it hovered, silent. All eyes turned to her, but Ava was not looking at them. She was looking at the chains on her arms. And she whispered, "Now we begin." Without warning, her body glowed, not bright, not wild, controlled. Like the calm before a storm, the arena floor beneath her shifted. Not from machines, from her. Her voice, calm and sharp, cut through the noise. Protocol 9, open system layer. No one understood, but far below, in the control center, alarms began to scream. One alien technician shouted, "Sir, she's inside the mainframe." The merchant screamed back, "Impossible." "She's locked." "No," the grey-eyed one said coldly. She was never locked. She was watching, waiting, learning. Back in the arena, one beast charged. Ava raised her hand. The ground beneath the beast exploded upward, a metal spike, shaped from the arena's own wiring, impaled at mid-sprint. The crowd gasped. The second beast flew toward her. She didn't move. Instead, gravity around her shifted. The floating beast twisted, dragged to the floor by some unseen force. Where its body cracked open like glass, the final beast roared, fire blazing. She closed her eyes. The fire stopped mid-air, frozen. She walked through it. Unburned. Untouched. Now the audience was no longer cheering. They were staring. Whispers spread. "This is not human. She commands the arena. She's a machine witch. She's something else." Above it all, Ava stood. Alone. The chains on her arms floated freely now, like steel wings. Her hair lifted in the air. Her feet no longer touched the ground. The announcer didn't speak, because the mic was dead, because she had shut it down, because she was the arena now, on the ghost knife. Rourke watched the silent footage with clenched fists. "She's not just using the tech," Milo said quietly. "She is the tech now." Lyra turned to Rourke. "You think we can still bring her home?" Rourke didn't answer, because he wasn't sure what home meant anymore. Back in the arena, Ava looked up, straight into the main camera, eyes glowing, voice steady. "This is not a performance. This is not survival. This is correction." Then she snapped her fingers. The crowd panicked. Seats sparked. Doors locked. Gravity reversed in some sections. For the first time, the arena of amusements was afraid. Down in the lower rings, the cleaning bots rolled into place. Hundreds of them, all blinking in sync. Tap, 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 pause, tap. The code. The plan, the beginning. Ava lowered herself back to the ground. The chains wrapped around her arms, like armor. The floor around her cracked and opened, showing deep tunnels below. She stepped down into the dark, whispering to the system around her. Next phase, awaken. The door closed behind her. The ship Ghost Knife dropped from hyperspace. Like a falling blade. It didn't come quietly. The sky above, Arena Prime lit up as its black hull broke through clouds of neon and smoke. Sirens didn't sound, because the arena's defenses were already confused, because the one they were meant to stop had already rewritten the rules. Captain Elias Rourke stood at the front of the ship, eyes locked on the massive fortress floating. In the distance, he didn't speak. His crew stood behind him, Lyra with her rifle, Milo with his hacking rig, and a new face they didn't trust. Commander Hess. He claimed he wanted to help, but his silence held weight. The landing was rough. Static filled the air. Lights inside the ship flickered. "She's inside the system," Milo said, tapping on a cracked tablet. "Everything's responding 5 seconds late. Like she's controlling time inside the structure." "That's not possible," Lyra said. Milo looked at her. "You're still thinking like she's human." The team moved fast, through the outer gates, past broken guard bots and empty check stations. No one stopped them. "Where is everyone?" Rourke asked. "No guards." "No resistance," Lyra muttered. "It's too clean." "That's the point," Hess said. "This is the invitation." They reached the center lift. The platform was already waiting, open. Inside, a single medal. "Flower on the floor. Ava single quotes S symbol. As they descended into the heart of Arena Prime. Milo whispered, "She wants us to see something." Meanwhile, deep below Ava stood in a chamber that did not exist on the original blueprints, a black circle. No walls, no ceiling. Just light floating around her like snow. Around her. Chains moved like serpents. Alive, silent. Loyal. Before her stood a tall glass wall. On the other side, dozens of other prisoners, cybernetically altered. Forgotten test subjects, stolen soldiers. Like her, she placed her hand on the glass. One child looked up, no voice. Just wide metal eyes. Iva whispered, "Not yet, soon." Back in the lift, the team reached the control floor. Silence. Screens on every wall, showing images of Ava fighting, training, sleeping, her heart rate, her thoughts, her DNA changing in real time. "She's been evolving," Milo said, awe in his voice. Every fight, every pain, she used it. She didn't break, she adapted. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut. Gas hissed. Alarm screamed. Lyra raised her rifle. "It's a trap." "No," Rourke whispered. "It's a test." The screen in front of them lit up. Ava's face appeared. She didn't smile. She didn't scream. She simply said, "I don't need saving." Then the floor fell away. The team dropped into darkness. Metal walls flying past them, until they landed hard in a glowing chamber. Around them, broken machines, discarded chains, and a single large door pulsing with red light. From above, Ava's voice echoed, "If you want answers, walk through." Inside the final room, they stepped inside. It wasn't a prison, it was a mine. The walls displayed Ava's memories, her training as a soldier, her capture, her pain, the arena, her transformation. In the center, a giant pillar of code, floating, alive, made of the same energy as her chains. "She's building something," Milo whispered. "Not just inside the arena." "No," Hess said slowly. "She's building out of it." Suddenly, behind them, doors slammed. Metal clicked. Figures dropped from above. Guards, but not alien ones. Human mercenaries, Earth symbols on their armor. "We're not the only ones who came," Lyra said, raising her gun. "They came to contain her," Hess added. "They want to shut her down before she becomes uncontrollable." Gunfire lit the room. The team scattered, but the walls themselves began to shift, moving to protect Rourke's group. Chains shot from the ground, grabbed the mercs, and pulled them into the dark. One word flashed across every screen: enough. "Ah." Side door opened on its own, a corridor of light. At the end, a figure stood. Not chained, not broken. Ava. She looked older. Colder. More designed. Her voice echoed, soft but final. "This place was never my prison. It was my cocoon." The door opened. And for a moment, the galaxy held its breath. There she stood, Ava Marin, once a soldier, once a prisoner, once a girl chained for the amusement of monsters, but now she was the system, she was the arena. She had broken every lock, not with violence, but with time, code, silence. And now, her team stood before her. Not to rescue her, but to face her. Captain Rourke took one step forward. He looked at her, truly looked. She had no chains now, but metal circled her arms. Like veins, her eyes were dark gold. Not angry, not lost, just awake. "You're alive," he said. Her voice was soft. "I waited," he swallowed. "I left you." She nodded. "Yes." Lyra raised her rifle slightly. "Are you still you?" Ava tilted her head. "I'm more than I was. I'm exactly who they built. And more than they controlled." Behind her, the giant pillar of code pulsed. It wasn't just data anymore. It was a living blueprint, a new system, grown from pain, from memory, from her. She turned back to the pillar. "They used me as a signal, a weapon, a joke, a story for aliens to laugh at." She closed her hand. The room darkened. But stories can change. Suddenly, alarms. Chaos. Outside the arena, ships approached. Federation warships. Human. Here to save, here to shut her down. Milo checked his scanner. "They're arming orbital weapons. They're going to glass the arena." "She already knows," Hess muttered. "She let them come." Ava walked to the center of the chamber. Chains rose from the floor like vines, not to trap her, but to crown her. Above her, screens showed live feeds, alien viewers, human leaders, mercenaries, soldiers. All watching. She looked straight into the main camera. And said, "This is your final broadcast." With a flick of her hand, the arena's power grid exploded outward, not in destruction, but in awakening. Bots turned on their masters. Lights showed secret chambers opening. Prisoners, experiments, broken machines crawling back into life. She whispered, "Free them all." And the system obeyed. Rourke stepped closer. "Ava, what now?" She looked at him. For the first time there was pain in her face. "I remember the girl I was. I remember waiting for rescue. I remember thinking someone was coming." Tears formed in her glowing eyes. "But I had to become my own rescue." Above them, the Federation's weapons charged. "You don't have to fight them," Rourke said. Ava looked up. "I'm not going to fight them." He blinked. "What then?" She smiled, a sad, quiet smile. "I'm going to show them what they created." She lifted both arms. The chains around her shot into the sky, spiraling into a tower of energy. The arena itself began to rise. Not crumble, lift, becoming a ship, a city, a signal. She turned to Rourke. "This isn't war. This is a message." "What message?" he asked. She looked into the stars. "You cannot chain evolution." The arena ship launched into the sky. The Federation fired. But every missile bent. Every system blinked. Ava didn't just dodge the weapons. She rewrote them. And then she was gone. Back on the ghost knife, Rourke stood in silence. "She left." Milo whispered. "No," Lyra said. She rose. "Once they put a girl in chains for laughter. Now they speak her name in whispers. They tried to contain her. They tried to own her. But the girl they mocked became the mind they can't outrun. Her chains didn't break. She became the one who decides who wears them next. Asterisk.